All right. Welcome back to our podcast, The Wealth Bridge. We're back like we never left. My name is Madupe, in case you're just, catching on this particular podcast or channel and you're wondering who is this lady. My name is Madupe and I'm reaching out from the great state of California. I don't get to do this alone. Like I like to say, I have my business partners powerfully packed, and they are here for us to have a conversation with our community, conversation with friends, families, individuals who actually hold us in high esteem in the community, to share with them our wealth of knowledge. How are you doing, Adebola?
I'm doing good. It's great to be back.
Wonderful.
Let's do this.
I'm excited to have you here. In spite of the very busy, cold weather everywhere, we are still here because
you can see that again.
How are you doing, Ademola?
I'm doing awesome. Too blessed to be stressed. It's always great to be here.
Clock it, brother. Clock it, brother. That's the spirit. We're here to be a blessing because we understand the essence in which we're born. We understand that our life, the essence of our life, is way too small just to be for ourselves. That is why we are out here, so we can be a blessing. And you can already tell the topic of conversation today is protecting what matters as immigrants. If you say we are very, very selfish about our immigrant community, you can say that again. These are our inner circle. These are the individuals in which we want to ensure that they are knowledgeable. They have the information that matters. And because these are very important individuals who have flown several oceans in search of greener pasture, their life sure matters. You will agree with me. And so let's talk about it. What are the possible things that we could say matters to immigrant?
Interesting. What an awesome question. As an immigrant, at times some of us, we come here by ourselves. Then, all of a sudden you get married, you start having kids. So some people, what matters most to them is family. Mm-hmm. Some people, what matters more to them could be their pets. Some people, what matters more to them could be their assets. They work so hard and that's their priceless possession. They feel like, man, my assets, I need to protect my assets. Mm-hmm. And some people, it could be their health. They work out, we call them the gym rats. They work out 24/7, they eat right, they talk right, they smell right. Those kind of people, but these are some of the things that does matter to do different people. There's a lot of things that matter to us. And for each and every one of us, it's going to be different. So for me, what matters most to me is family. So I don't know about you, Adebola. What matters most to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, personally, my family, my immediate family, their future, our future, those are the things that matters because, if anything were to happen, I want to make sure that everybody will be okay. And I want to believe, that's something that matters to a lot of people. You want to make sure that your family it's okay, now and in the future. You want to make sure that your children are well taken care of. You want to make sure that you're able to meet your responsibilities and live a very comfortable life, not just work, and no play. You want to make sure that you're working and you're, yielding the fruit and enjoy the fruit of your labor. So a good life really matters now and for the future generations to come.
Wealth in there too. Generational wealth. I'll throw that in there.
Wonderful. I like the way you're starting out. I'm here all grinning, right? I'm all smiles, like, wow. Yes, our family does matters, right? Like we said. And one or two things I literally picked from what you both talked about is you said, I just want to make sure my family is good. I just want to make sure my family is right. And to be honest, we are not exceptional because I can tell you for a fact that Many of our immigrant family, they share the same sentiment just like you do right now. So in the midst of that conversation, I'm hearing something called legacy. I'm hearing something, leaving something for posterity. I'm hearing you want to make sure that our lives just doesn't end where we end, right? There is something, and you literally just threw it in and you said generational wealth. So that when anything should happen, guess what? I'm not leaving liability. I want to make sure that my family continues to feel good, even when I'm no longer here. Those things are what matters. But in the midst of us understanding what matters to us, how do we think our immigrant community are currently protecting what matters? Be it their health, be it their family, be it their life. What would you say or what would you share are certain things they are doing right now to protect what matters to them?
Awesome, awesome. I mean, very, very interesting. If you know anything about the corporate world, there's something called risk management. And risk management is just a form. Life is not void of risk. We all know that. So, as a business person or as someone who owns a company, the very first thing you're thinking about is how do I mitigate against risk? Because risk is always going to be part of scaling that. So, if you're saying your family matters to you, how are you protecting your family such that if your health gets compromised, if your income gets compromised, how do you continue to take care of your financial responsibilities? And one of those tools would be something called life insurance. And it's one thing that we don't want to talk about a lot in our community, because when people hear life insurance, they run the other way. Is that you? The question is, what do you even understand about life insurance? Is it the life insurance, the one that your granddad had in 1913? Or is it the kind of life insurance that we're talking about in 2026? Which one? As immigrants, what do we know? As people in the diaspora, are we just myopic about what could be an iPhone 13 compared to what could be an iPhone 17? Where would you rather be? Do you want to be in today's world, or do you want to be stuck in the boondocks? So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to let Adebola chime in.
Wow, thank you. I like the fact that you did let out the elephant, right? You said, let's talk about the elephant in the room right now. Let's make sure we have a conversation about this. I like that. And now that you've thrown it out there, Debola, can you please take a bite? When people hear life insurance, what scares them? What is it? What is it about this subject?
The emotional truth is that many immigrants really don't get it. We don't get it quickly. You'll be surprised that a lot of us we insure our phones, our cars, our houses, and we have to do these things. It's not like, oh, it's just by choice, and we do it. I mean, we know about the cars and houses; they are mandatory, but we even go ahead and insure our phones. I've never insured a phone, but a lot of people do it. But the income that pays for everything remains unprotected. You see the sense behind that. Many of us were ignorant of this before. We were in the same boat, but I'm no longer in that boat, just so to say. And that's the awareness we're bringing. You insure all those things, but even the income, it's not protected. My dream for my family will continue. Even if I'm not here, is yours going to continue? If anything were to happen to you, will the people you love, those people you love, what are they going to do? What is going to happen to them? Many immigrants are statistically underinsured, and we want this to change. And that's why we're bringing this awareness. You will notice in most of our episode, we talk about financial literacy. This is the basic, the root, the foundation of what we're talking about today. And now we're talking about insurance. It's not the enemy. It's called life insurance, not death insurance.
Mm.
It's high time we get to know what it really means. If you're not sure, you need to know. Don't just assume from what somebody have said many years ago, or the common knowledge in your community and in your family. You need to get the how what's that word to use? You need to get to the bottom of it. If you're unsure of something, you need to ask questions. Don't just continue with that knowledge, that have big knowledge about this subject of insurance. It is very important, and it's something that our immigrant community needs to really, at this time, take very serious. In our community, a lot of us are we are underinsured, and it shouldn't be.
Mm.
You know,
Thank
just
you,
to
Demola. Thank you
just
so
to
much, Demola. Yeah, go ahead, Demola.
just to add something to that. It's very important that we understand that as people in the diaspora, as immigrants, we're coming from different cultural backgrounds, which is different. We're coming from a different economical climate, which whereby life insurance might not even be a thing. But it's very important that you should understand that you're not in your home country anymore. You've left your home country. And if you're in a different country where the society, certain things work based on certain system, would it not make sense for you to want to learn about how the system of your new home country works? Would you not want to understand how some things could help you? Some things, if you add to your portfolio, can actually help you live a better financial life, and not just for you and for your family. They often say the elite, when the elites hear about life insurance, they get life insurance for the living benefit, whereas the 95 uninformed people, 95% uninformed people, when they hear life insurance, the only thing they think about is death. My question to you is, if I asked you, what is baking soda used for? Some people will say, oh, it's used for washing the pan. It's used for preserving something. It's called baking soda. The very first thing it's used for is baking. So what is life insurance? It's for life, not for death. Do we get it, people? It's high time we woke up.
They're getting it now. They're getting it now. Trust me.
And
And I know you're getting it now. On this podcast, we listen and we don't judge. But we also come armed with enough tools in our toolbox, just to make sure that someone out there is getting value. Someone out there doesn't leave our feed, our channel, our podcast remaining the same. One of the things I find that many of us do in our community, we go on the internet and we're trying to be master of everything. You're probably just in the medical field and you're trying to get protected by doing it yourself. Certain things will not work by DIY, unfortunately. You will need to work with a professional. Just like someone trying to have a heart surgery right now and saying, I'm going to go on the internet and research what I need to do, and I will stay right there in my room and get it done. Oh, no.
good luck.
Trying to do that, trying to become a
Cannot even get
cardiologist
it done.
all of a sudden. Similar way, you're trying to figure things out when it comes to this conversation on your own, rather than working with a financial professional. Have a rethink, people. We are putting it out there so you can be informed. Both of them have talked about that, saying first instance of people hearing about life insurance, they hear death. But we're saying it is life, people. Can you use it? Can you use it? In one sentence, I don't know if either of you could help us and hopefully help somebody there. What problem does life insurance solve that savings don't solve? Because most of the time people will be like, I don't want to give my money to no company. I'm going to use that money and put it somewhere else. Just in one word, and expatiate on that. What is that problem that life insurance is going to solve, that savings will not solve.
Deborah, you wanna chime in
All
first?
right. I mean, there are a lot of things that life insurance we actually help solve, protect. We talk about family stability, replaces your income, covers rent, mortgage, and daily living expenses. Your savings can do that. You talk about your children's future, education funding, continues even if your income stops. Even if your income stops, the education of your children continues. Your savings can go that far. With even your extended family obligations, we talk about debt protection. That's another thing. You can use your life insurance to protect, loans, credit cards, or business obligations and all that. Also, what about your legacy, your dignity, proper burial arrangements without fundraising, without GoFundMe, without running into debt, without worry. But a lot of people don't know these things. So that's why they say knowledge is the new money. You need to know. You can't remain ignorant. It's when you don't know and you have those misconceptions about life insurance. I will let Demola say something before we go into that.
Before he says anything, I probably would just add on real quickly. And thank you so much, both of you, so far. This has been educative. I'm listening just like an audience, and I'm also listening just like the host for today. But one of the things I'll also want to touch base on, which Debola talked about, is the legacy. If you save right now and you continue to save from right now till kingdom come, but what if that is the time God is saying, time up, I need you home. It's time for you to transition. And all so far, whatever it is you've saved, I don't think you've saved up to $1 million. I don't think so. But if you have, at that same point in time, you get called home. And you have a life insurance that has a coverage as of what as that. You get what I call, from the time you even signed up for it, instant estate. The same time you start saving, plus the same time you got approved for a life insurance policy, there is something you have that savings will not give you. It is called an instant estate. And what that does is it opens up the door for you in the event of, intermittent going back home, transitioning back to heaven. Your family is not going to be wallowing in liability. Something good came out of something bad in that instance. So we're saying, if your family matters to you, if all of these things matters to you, how are you protecting it? Do you have one in your coffin? Do you have one in your portfolio? It is a protection portfolio, people. If you have all of this investment, if you have all of these so-called qualified retirement accounts, brokerage account, and you don't have one in your portfolio, you're missing it. Demola, go for it, please.
Yeah, I mean, very honest, I mean, we need to understand that life insurance is the first shield to doing anything, like building a house. Most times when you're building a house, you start with the foundation, you don't start with the roof. So when you're building your financial foundation, what is your foundation? What is that foundation? And for most people, they don't even have a foundation. But for the elite, for those who are financially savvy, or for those who are financially educated, the foundation always has to be the protection piece. Because without the protection piece, everything else that you're building on that thing is going to crumble when the storm comes. And guess what? It's not if the storm will come. It's when the storm comes. And there will always be storms. It could be financial storms. It could be health storms. It could be,
economic
storms. How are you going to weather that when you lose everything you've built as a result of market volatility and it erodes that? How are you going to build your wealth if taxes has engulfed half of what you have?
Mm,
So the very first thing you want to do is to have a line of defense, which is the protection. Once you
mm,
have a protection, now you can start building. Now you can start taking care of maybe your debt, getting out of debt. Now you can start laying up, okay, maybe you want to even grow an investment, or you want to even build an emergency fund. You can now start building everything else, because guess what? If you start with savings or you start with an investment, on the day whereby your health is compromised, whereby you can't go to work no more because you have a critical illness or chronic illness, guess what happens? You're going to spend down all that investment. You're going to spend it down. You're going to go back into your emergency fund. From your emergency fund, now you're going to go into debt. Now you're going to be spending those credit cards that you thought you did away with, and now you're back on the bottom because there's no protection. Guys, it's very, very important that we protect what matters, whether it's your health, whether it's your finances. What protection do you have on it? We cannot overemphasize on this topic, and this is so important because our community were totally underinsured, just like Debola said.
thank you, Demola. This is very, very vital. And again, you probably hear both of them talking about this, myself inclusive, again, because we are SMEs in this area. And we see all of these things on a daily, experiences from clients and all that. I'd like for us to please share with the audience, and Debola can please take a stab at that. This common misconception that our immigrants community usually hold on to, right? When it comes to things like this, and they're like, yeah, I don't trust a life insurance company. I don't trust them. I don't think I can leave, for this. And many of them just again fall back to the fact that, yeah, my family will take care of me even if I'm no longer here. I've been able to support people through GoFundMe. What is your take on that? Should our community be found in this?
Yeah, there are a lot of misconceptions about life, especially in our community among immigrants. And one of them is the fact that some people just feel that they don't need it. Some think, oh, my job insurance is enough. Employer coverage usually disappears when you leave the job. That's one thing you should know. Some think it's too expensive. Many policies cost less than a weekly takeout meal. It depends on the plan you go for, what you need, which is going to be, designed specifically for you. Another misconception is the fact that, oh, I'm young, I don't need it yet. Wrong. Newsflash, the younger you are, the cheaper it is.
The better for you.
Get started with it now. The younger you are, the cheaper it is, and the more it pays you later on.
The more likely you get qualified.
Exactly. So why don't you get started now? We also hear the fact that, oh, I'll get it when I'm settled, when I have money. Oh, I'm doing something else. I don't get that. I'll get it when I'm settled. Like
procrastination, the biggest.
You have a job. You're paying some bills. You spend money on some things that are not in a month, I'm sure there will be at least an amount that you spend every month that you could have held back to do something better. Protection should start while you are building, not after. While you're building, not when you are settled. What's settling? Start now while you're building. The same time you are saving, the same time whatever it is. It shouldn't be for later. Life insurance should be, it is a wealth protection tool. So that wealth that you're building now, you need the protection for that wealth. So that's why you need to start right now. As soon as you know about it, start. Don't wait till tomorrow. And all these misconceptions, they're just myths that holds you back, traps you down, deceiving yourself when you know what is right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And because again, we're trying to kind of wrap up here. There'll be some school of thought that would say, yeah, I believe I should have a life insurance. And some people will be team TAM. I want a TAM. And others will be team permanent. I want a permanent. Demola, can you please just explain to the audience? Let's understand, what is a term life insurance? What is a permanent life insurance? Why should I have one or the other? When should I have one or the other? Should I have both? Maybe I don't need one. Maybe I need one.
Awesome question. And this is this is something that we could go on and on. But just to just give some, just give some clarity.
High level.
Yeah. One thing is you have basically two types of insurance. You have a term and you have a permanent. In the term, like the word says, term means it's temporary. So it could be for 10 years, it could be 15. Most times the max is 30. And very few, oftentimes, some companies, they even go up to 40. But the one that majority of the companies they offer is anything between 10 to 30 years. So basically, these are normally cheap. They offer you the highest, insurance for the smallest amount of money while you still need it. So the term insurance is very good, especially for somebody who's saying, you know what, I don't have a lot of money. You could still, with that, that simple little money that you can put away, maybe for a easy takeout monthly, you could set that aside to have a protection over your family. Because guess what? In that 30 years whereby you protected, can you just imagine if you're 30 years old and you have a 1-year-old child? If you get a 30-year policy, it means up to the age of 60 years old. It means if anything were to happen to you, your child is protected. That dependent that you have will not be able to skip a beat because dad or mom had put some type of protection, in place. So guess what? Temporary, yes, it does expire. But guess what? It is actually the one you get the smallest amount. You pay the smallest for the highest amount of life insurance. That's number one. Also, the temporary insurance, some of them may actually even give you something called living benefits, such that you don't even have to die. While you're still alive, it pays out to you. God forbid you have critical, chronic, or terminal illness. How awesome is that? That your income even could be replaced because of some sickness. Now, let's go to permanent life insurance. Permanent life insurance, there are even multiple types. There's majorly 4 types. But let me talk about one thing that is synonymous to all the permanent life insurance, that they all have something called, number one, they're permanent. So they last through till age 100, till age 121. So it's permanent. They outlast you or they outlive you, if it's properly structured. Let me put that. If it's properly structured, they should outlive you. But the interesting part about all the types of permanent life insurance is that they have something called the cash value, whereby it has a savings component to it, whereby you put in money aside, just God forbid, if you were to transition home too early, guess what? That asset, that life insurance policy is also building something called a cash value, which could be used for whatsoever. And the interesting thing about the cash value? Because of certain IRS internal revenue codes that's attached to this, it allows this policy to grow tax-free. And when you want to take it out, you can take it out tax-free. And you know what? When you pass on the transition to glory, it also passes down to your heirs tax-free. There are so many benefits of a permanent life insurance that if we had to go into it, that would be a class for another time. But you know what? We're all licensed professionals. That's one of the things that we do. So you know what? If you want to know a little bit more, you could definitely put a comment in the chat, and we could definitely, speak to you with your own tailored or individual, question.
Excellent. Thank you very much. You know what? I just, it was just wonderful. It was just wonderful, having this conversation. That was just what Life Insurance 101 you guys just had right now from us. Okay. If all of these things we talked about matters to you, I think it's important for you to start looking out for what are the tools and strategies you have available to make sure that you are protecting what really matters to you. Life insurance, wealthy are using this to supercharge their savings. right? And so if you want to have the further conversation around it, just like Demola talked about, reach out to us, drop in the comments, send us a DM, right? We will be able to guide you. Tailored, customized conversation that really meets your needs. Having done a financial need analysis, understanding where you're coming from, understanding what your insurable needs are, understanding what is your affordability quotient, what can you really afford right now, and what is your objective. It's not a one-size-fits-all, people. Reach out to those who know what they are doing. I'll be happy to help you. And we're going to wrap it up here to this definitely another beautiful day. Until we come your way another time, it is the Wealth Bridge podcast.
Yep.
All right. Like, subscribe to our channel, and definitely turn on your notification button. You never can tell what we're bringing in next. You never can tell. You can guess what it is, but we'll be here to educate and definitely keep you informed. Thank you, Debola, and thank you, Demola. It was nice having both of you tonight.
All right. Take care, viewers. All righty.
Take care.
Take care. All right.